Today we will be talking about the contact hypothesis. What is contact hypothesis? There's a theory developed in the 1950s after World War II. It's basically contact within a group can reduce prejudice between the majority and the minority groups. Um, it was first introduced by Gordon Allport and gained attention in his book, The Nature of Prejudice. Gordon Allport and many other scientists set out to study interracial contact after the war. It was broken down into four specific parts, and the main summary of it is proper contact should reduce stereotyping, prejudice, and discrimination. Four parts: equal group status promotes positive attitudes as everybody's on the same level, the status. Common goals: members of different groups have one goal. For example, an athletic team comes together to win a game. Intergroup cooperation: people work together with no conflict that benefits the group. And then support of authorities. For example, in schools during the 50s and 60s, you get support from cops, teachers, and parents. It influences how greatly the contact hypothesis works. Um, Used in social psychology, three main topics: prejudice, discrimination, and stereotyping. You have two biases. You have blatant, which is conscious beliefs that you want people to know, that you put out there openly. It can be often hostile. And then you have subtle biases, which is unconscious and unexamined, but does have a real consequence. You have the social dominance theory or orientation, which is belief that group hierarchies in all societies need to happen and are good for society. For example, India has a hierarchy. You have right and left wing authoritarianism, which right is more of endorses respect for obedience and authority, and the group conformity, and you have focuses on group unity over individual rights, and then left wing is characterized as dogmatic, punitive towards dissenters, and desire for strong authority figures. Used in the real world, it's been used in school. For example, Brown versus Board of Education, they decided that desegregating and putting students in controlled environments often would reduce prejudice from whites towards blacks and increase positive relationships between the two groups. And then you have Jigsaw Classroom, which communication and cooperation. For example, you break the classroom into groups. You have three people in a group. You give each individual in the group a part, and they have to get really good at that part in order to benefit the group. So they work together, work on themselves, and then come together and get an A for the project. Used personally, for me, it would be to have contact with more diverse people, go out of my way to meet people who are different than me when it comes to religion, race, culture. For me, personal example, we have a Puerto Rican on the baseball team, and I've went out of my way to learn about him, his family, their views on things, their customs, their beliefs, culture, food, and it's just a good way to gain knowledge and eliminate stuff like subtle biases that you have towards people. And these are my sources.